Water Cooler, brought to you by Wingstop.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Coming at you live in the heart of Lincoln, America.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Cleary.
It's that time of year again. It's almost time for game day in Lincoln. I don't have quite the voice for it. I remember when Bo used to say that. That really get me fired up. Sometimes the coaches, there's
almost time
there you go.
Game day in Lincoln.
I don't know why, but Bo's voice just sounded better than when Mike Riley did. It's like, I'm not as fired up.
The Huskers welcome in the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota.
I like that. Keep going.
I don't know what else
you
to
don't have
say.
anything else to say?
Looking to bounce back from a terrible loss across the pond in Ireland.
That's right.
The Cornhuskers and new quarterback Casey Thomason look to take out their frustration on the Fighting Hawks.
I'm ready to go now.
And their redshirt sophomore quarterback leading the way from a quarterfinals appearance in the NCAA Division I AA college football playoffs. A loss to, I forget who they played.
That's pretty good. Now you did do some research today, or the last couple of days, on North Dakota. Do you think that they pose a viable threat to Nebraska this weekend?
No,
not really.
Well, so I watched film for like the first time ever. I was getting tips on how to watch film from DP. He helped me out a bit. Still not like the best, but we're going to get better. We learn, all right? We progress and we get better as we go along.
Day by day.
This is my first time. Yeah, it's my first time doing it. So I was watching some North Dakota Fighting Hawks film. I watched about 3 games, so I can't really say like for sure if this is what's going to happen. But they are a downhill running team. They lost their star running back last year. He transferred out, so they have 3 running backs that they're probably going to turn to. There's one, I don't remember names, but number 7 in their running back room. He's about 5'9", like 180 something.
VJ likes that guy.
Yeah, I don't know if he put on any weight, but he is quick. He is a fast little guy, and they like to run screen. They like to run screens a lot. A lot of misdirections for undisciplined defenses. And look, I'm not saying that Nebraska's defense is undisciplined, but they are possibly over-aggressive at sometimes. So hopefully they don't fall for the misdirection the screenplays that North Dakota is probably going to throw at them. They also have a receiver, number 1, who, again, pretty quick. They like to run little jailbreak screens, wide receiver screens. He comes across the middle, linemen kind of pop out, give him a little lane to catch and run. They're not afraid to throw the ball, and their quarterback is pretty accurate. They give him enough time to kind of pick some defenses apart. Let me.
They got a big line. I know their line's about as big as Nebraska.
Their line's about. I think they have a guy that's like 6'6". Other than that, everybody's like 6'3", 6'4".
Well, as far as height, but weight-wise, yeah.
300 about all of them.
Yeah,
they're all averaging about 300 plus. They have 3 new linemen. They moved their left guard out to left tackle and their right tackle into right guard. So they have a new left guard, center, and right tackle from last year's team. Which is probably good because watching them on film, their guards gave up a lot of pressure on the inside. So, I mean, if that hasn't changed, Nebraska should be able to get some push on the inside with Devin Drew, Colton Feast, Ty Robinson, Stephon Wynn Jr. Those guys should be able to
pretty close.
They should be able to if things are close to the same, but like I said, they have a new left guard and a new center. They should be able to put some pressure on the Fighting Hawks up the middle, but we'll see how that comes to be. Their tight end, I believe it's the same tight end from last year. They like to throw to him up the seam, and he's good. If it's the same one, he's got some pretty soft hands, and he's a load to bring down. He's not gonna blow past you, but he will lower his shoulder into you, and he has soft hands. He'll pretty much catch it if you throw it his way. That's about it on the offensive side of things. They like to. trying to remember what like a zone blocking scheme. Like they're all going to go one direction and block that way. And
Is their quarterback a little mobile?
slightly mobile. He can run a
Yeah.
little bit.
Casey Thompson or better?
Probably more. He's probably more willing than
Okay.
Casey Thompson, or at least the one game that we saw Casey Thompson, he's more willing than Casey Thompson. But their offense is pretty. If Nebraska's defense shows up the way that they did against Northwestern, North Dakota is going to put up some points. Now their defense, they love to play zone defense. They love zoning up and they bring a ton of pressure all the time. They're mainly a 3-4, but I've noticed if they only have 2 down linemen, so right in the middle, they'll put 2 linemen down. Then they have outside linebackers, edge rushers standing up on the outside. As soon as they realize it's a pass, like they kind of have a spy, but he'll run in there. He'll try to get between the defensive lineman, try to find that hole, and try to get to the quarterback, whereas the other linebacker will drop back into coverage, and they're mostly playing zone. So if Travis Vokalek is healthy, you saw what he was doing against Northwestern, finding zones, sitting down, picking it apart. He should be able to do that if he's able to play. Marcus Washington was pretty good at that as well. Trey Palmer might have a little bit tougher time if they're just sending him deep because they're going to have a safety over the top. And so they're playing a zone. So you might see a lot of passes, like short passes, and just get your playmakers in space. Let them do their thing. Running wise, again, with the 3-4, with the 2 down linemen, they like to bring like run blitzes as well. So I would say a bigger running back might thrive. I mean, if he's more than willing to lower his shoulder and take some hits, you should be good. The smaller running backs, if you run outside, you should be maybe have some
Nebraska
success.
Run outside. I don't.
Yeah,
seen that
I know
yet
you
this
didn't see it, but you should be able to have some success.
Well, and I hope that's. I feel like that's where the advantage is, if not for more than anything, just by weight. North Dakota's front line averages about 260 pounds. That's not very big. Nebraska, obviously, with their offensive line, I think averages about 307 pounds. So that's a 50-pound difference there. You should be able to move people, and that's why a lot of people are looking forward maybe to Nebraska getting a big run game going. We talked about the previous show there on the captain is having a few 100-yard rushers. I don't know. I'd love to see it. I thought that made some sense for Northwestern too, based on how bad their run defense was last year. Mm-hmm. That didn't come to fruition. Nebraska might not have maulers yet. You might not have the run blocking that you need to take advantage of that. Yeah. I think if they play in that soft zone, Nebraska's that's where Mark Whipple's gonna attack. He's gonna feel very comfortable doing so. I watched
them play against Utah State, Truman State. That was like the semifinals, the quarterfinals that they played last year. Right? Yeah, 2021. And South Dakota State. And for the most part, they were giving up, touchdowns in the air left and right. They were getting picked apart by these teams. Utah State was they were throwing short passes here and there, and then they would just uncork one, and North Dakota had no answer for it. So we'll see. It's going to be really interesting. I think Casey Thompson, if all goes according to plan, Casey Thompson will probably end up being your MVP. He'll probably have a big game. They'll try to run the ball, I believe, just to establish it, especially considering they didn't do a great job against Northwestern, just to kind of get their running backs into a groove, get their offensive line used to just moving people out of the way as opposed to just keeping people away from the quarterback, just moving people, mauling people and shoving them out of the way. I think they'll attempt to run the ball a decent amount. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think too they've got brand new starters back there in the secondary. So if that's a weakness before, maybe that can be even more so now. I'm gonna get this text off the text line from Jory. I'm surprised to see it. He says, "Gents, in the history of being a ticket listener, I defended Frost to a fault. I'm now in boat of zero confidence in Frost. Could Nebraska do well and right the ship? Yes, but I can't put my money on it now. Sad day, Jory. Wow. I didn't think I'd see the day. You were Jory was very big time Frost defender. Yeah.
Wow, Jory.
Well, don't give up now. This is probably the best chance at a victory.
It's one game. All right. You're one game into the season.
Well, I will say this: Nebraska's defense. I looked up the numbers last night. It was under Shenander. So throughout the time of Coach Frost, of course, they've had hurry-up offenses and stuff. Their program altogether doesn't necessarily protect their defense. So keep that in mind when you hear this. But the 528 yards given up to Northwestern has only been outdone twice against Shenander's defense at Nebraska. Once College game day, Ohio State, they could have had probably a lot more yards, but they kind of held up on a 48-7 victory for Ohio State. The other one was in 2018, the first year against Wisconsin, 533 yards. And then, so, I mean, there's other notable victories that they didn't give up as many yards as they did, or losses, I should say, as many yards as they did to Northwestern, including that 56-10 beatdown to Michigan in 2018, the 52-17 loss to Ohio State to open up 2020, the 450 yards they gave up to Minnesota when they lost 34-7 in the hoodie game. All those games, not as much total yards than Northwestern had. That's what's alarming, is this defense really got taken to school there. And you wonder too, I mean, Northwestern wasn't necessarily playing to outscore Nebraska. They still, despite the fact that they were having so much success putting up yards, they still were taking field goals and not taking big chances on third downs in the red zone. So they were kind of sticking to the old Big Ten West recipe. Just keep it close and let Scott Frost beat himself. And that worked. But, I feel like they didn't even pass the final 11 minutes or whatever it was. They could have went for more yards. That's what's very scary. So I've got to see that this week is take care of North Dakota, because on the opposite end of that, the Big Tens look pretty good early on. Illinois just shut out Wyoming altogether. Now, they don't have much of a passing game, but still, that they're very one-dimensional. But Illinois shut it down. Minnesota did even more so last night. A shutout against New Mexico State. Where they allowed,
Mexico State is garbage, though.
Yeah, but they allowed less than, I don't care if you play a Pee Wee football team, allowing only 91 yards is kind of pretty darn good. And that was a top 5 defense, by the way, last year. So Minnesota maybe not going anywhere. Purdue and Penn State had a shootout. I think that was two very, pretty good teams. I think that there's a big chance. We always say you get better from week 1 to week 2, or in this case, week 0 to week 1. That's when you'll make your big strides. We've got to see that this week. If they struggle, you can almost forgive one game, but they've got to get it rolling, especially if they're going to be ready for Oklahoma.
So I want to ask everybody. 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline, starter him text line. And if you want to comment on the live video stream as well, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, what do you want to see in this game? That, look, I'm not asking you to get all your confidence back and jump right back on the bandwagon if you've hopped off or if you're sitting on the edge, whatever. But what would make you feel? What do you need to see from this team against North Dakota that would make you feel better? That would make you feel like not everything is going to hell in a handbasket. Like, what do you need to see? Is it an improved running game? Is it a shutout? Is it is it holding a team to under 100 yards, under 200 yards of total offense? Is it a 22-point victory? Like, what do you need to see? And this is just like a personal thing. What do you need to see from this team to make you, not implode the season right away?
Yeah, we got two responses right away talking about the trenches, getting those things rolling. If you can't do it against North Dakota, it's going to spell doom for the rest of the Big Ten, so I can definitely agree with that. Somebody else agrees, a shutout on defense. So that could be a big deal. Obviously, maybe it isn't a shutout, and that's probably a bit of a mentality I think is within this program with Scott Frost. I mean, it's somewhat like being the Purdue defensive coordinator, right? Your offense isn't going to protect you, and so Shenander kind of knew that when he took this job. But they don't feel within that locker room like, well, we're going to hold our opponent to under 20 points. So we're kind of thinking, you heard him say the magic number is 31 or whatever he wanted to say last week. They feel like that the days of holding opponents to under 20 points and under 200 yards are gone. College football has changed. Well, look at the Big Ten. It hasn't changed. Minnesota's doing it. They had a top 5 defense last year. Now, are you gonna do that against Ohio State? Probably not. But that's what I need to see is when you're playing a North Dakota team, this is not just a scheduled W. This is a scheduled blowout. If it's anything less than that, then you're not on track, and they need to get back on track. So that's what I want to see. Am I predicting it necessarily? I think the offense will put up a lot. But that's what my concern is going into this game is I want to see the defense take a huge stride, show that last week was a fluke. They just, for whatever reason, weren't ready to go, whatever it was, and that the black shirts can step up. Because if not, it's going to be a lot of shootouts this year.
Mm-hmm. So for me, it's not numbers. It's not, a number of tackles, number of sacks, a number of turnovers, whatever. It's just, there's a couple things. I need to see pressure on the quarterback. I don't care if you get to him. I mean, I would prefer you have multiple sacks, but if you get to him, if you're speeding him up, if he has to leave the pocket, if you knock him down after he throws, like if he's on the ground multiple times during this game, I will take that as an improvement. If the defensive line isn't getting blown off the line of scrimmage every time, if the offensive line is, and it doesn't have to be every time, like dominance, it's not every single time that this happens, but I need to more often than not see the offensive line pushing the defensive line, giving Casey Thompson time to throw. I need to see Casey Thompson sitting back in the pocket, comfortable, not rolling out and having to throw on the run. It's just, I want this to be a comfortable game. Like that's what I want. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care. I do care about the score, like comfortable, meaning like a comfortable win. This game needs to feel like it was really never in doubt and that the team took a step forward to the point where, they're laughing on the sidelines because, again, they're comfortable where they're sitting in this game. Like I need the defense to be comfortable. Like they're giving up, the short passes underneath, but they're rallying to the ball. Maybe the first person there doesn't get the tackle, but after that first person, it's not, 10 yards down the field before somebody else is there. I want somebody there immediately. I want the gang tackling. I want all the hats to be there. Just like I said, just a comfortable thing where if you have a short pass, you're not sitting there thinking, okay, this 1 yard pass is going to turn into a 12-yard pass because there's going to be 4 missed tackles on this play. It's okay, this guy missed a tackle, but 2 yards later, somebody took him down, like something like that.
Yeah. Let's get to some of your thoughts here. Let's go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Bob is on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Bob, how's it going?
Hey, it's going all right. You know what I want to see this weekend?
What do you see?
Tomorrow? Execution. That means that when we got the ball carrier in the backfield for 5-yard loss, we bring him down 5 yards. Don't let him bounce off a couple people and pick up 10. I want to see pressure on that quarterback. I want to see people in the backfield. I want to see that quarterback put back up on his backside. He can't throw when he's sitting down, right?
There you go.
Offensively, hey, if we can't get the running game going, let's get the ball out to the playmakers. We don't need 20 yards downfield. Little flare out. Let's get two backs out in the backfield. Play action pass. And then just throw a little flare out. Let them get in open space. Let them do their thing. Let them get some runs. That's what I want to see.
All right, thanks for the call, Bob. That sounds like we maybe we will see some of that. I mean, that you hopefully do see some of that. Let's go to Curtis now here on the Honda of Lincoln hotline as well. Curtis, how's it going?
Hopefully do see some of that.
Curtis, you got to turn your radio down, and then maybe you can
Please and thank
respond
you.
here. Yeah, please and thank you.
All right, put it back up.
You still there, Curtis?
Yep, I'm here. Hey, watching the game last Saturday, the one thing I noticed that really stood out was the defensive line was rushing straight ahead, 4 guys almost the whole game. And that's kind of what we've seen the last 4 years before this. There's just a very lack of creativeness on defense, as far as, stunting, blitzing. It really looks so generic and so predictable. Teams can go in and game plan for that easily. And they need to be creative. How else are we going to get a pass rush, right?
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, thanks for the call.
Comment.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, Curtis.
Good point. I think a little bit more imagination. Maybe you don't want to see it so much this week. I mean, you want to see it at this point. You're not like holding back for anything, but they, like I said, North Dakota's got kind of a big offensive line, maybe untested. Weight doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be great or anything, but you want to see them be able to get get home against a North Dakota team. A few sacks, like Terrell Farley said, he wants his Big Mac sack on Monday.
The defense, Nebraska's defense is going to have to be disciplined against this North Dakota team because they like to, like I said, they like to do a lot of misdirection. They like, different trick plays. They might, run a reverse. In the Utah State game, they ran in the first quarter, there was a reverse pass and a double pass. In the first quarter, they had 2 trick plays or two gadget plays.
Yeah.
And both of them ended up being touchdowns. So you've got to be disciplined. You've got to stay with your man, and you've got to do your job if you're this Nebraska defense. You can't be overly aggressive, or it's going to lead to big plays for the Fighting Hawks.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully Nebraska can get things in order, get in the win column. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and let's get to our friend Brian Munson will help us break down this game. Let us know about any recruiting that's going on. Brian Munson of On3 Sports coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Warhorse Casino is bringing winning opportunities to Lincoln. Get in on the action at our next job fair, Tuesday, September 6th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Husker Marriott. We're hiring trailblazers in every department: revenue auditors, IT, drop team, beverage servers, and more. Every employee is treated like family, and every role is essential in creating a one-of-a-kind experience. Go to warhorsecasino.com for more information or to apply.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Bauer Infrastructure is a new name from a well-established brand, and they're paving the way to progress. And they're hiring. Bauer Infrastructure is hiring truck drivers, carpenters, truck mechanics, and equipment operators. And they have industry-leading benefits to maintain a work-life balance. Bauer offers paid time off and paid holidays, a matching 401k plan, medical, dental, vision, life, and disability insurance, a clothing allowance, and more. Start your new career today by applying at BauerInfrastructure.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order your Wingstop online at 28th and Superior, 50th and O Street, and 29th and Pine Lake. Join us this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Cornhusker Bank at 84th and O for a tailgate to get ready for Nebraska's first home game. DP and J will be on air with a guest appearance by Larry the Cable Guy with free food and drink for the whole 2 hours. That's this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Cornhusker Bank on 84th and O. There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket. Hope you're enjoying your lunch, and if you haven't grabbed lunch yet, go to Good Sense go to Good Sense, actually. It's because it's a
Good-
Good Sense
I was gonna
Friday.
say, where are we
here.
going with
I was going to say, go to Good Sense Friday. Wait a minute. You can't go to Good Sense Friday. It is a Good Sense Friday
You could try.
here on 93.7 The Ticket. So we get Good Sense every week, and it's delicious. So you can try that out. Or you can always go to our sponsor at Wingstop, which is delicious as well. They got the new chicken sandwich.
Get yourself a chicken sandwich. It's delicious. I had the lemon pepper or the Louisiana rub one yesterday, and when I tell you it was delicioso, it was fantastic.
You should believe it.
I've had the
because
lemon
it's delicious.
pepper and I've had the Louisiana rub, both chef's kiss.
Yeah. And you can never go wrong with the wings either. I know
No.
promote the sandwiches, but the wings are
The
delicious.
wings are top notch.
Let's bring in Brian Munson of Husker Online. Feels kind of nice to say that. Brian, how you doing today?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of nice to hear that too. So yeah, doing good today.
You're no longer Brian Munson of Nebraska. Page coming soon.
Yeah, that one didn't fit very well. So I appreciate you guys being flexible and just saying on 3 before. But yeah, we are back to our normal publishing type of name here since Sean has rejoined us as of September 1st. So we're back to full strength with the Fearless Leader.
Awesome.
Let's jump right into it. It's been an interesting week, and you gotta kind of think after the loss to Northwestern. We don't have to hide from. There's a bunch of rumors specifically about Urban Meyer and stuff. How do you think that stuff plays off in the recruiting world as Frost is trying to get, his next class lined up?
Yeah, I think obviously there's some difficulty that comes along with that, but the Nebraska staff has handled everything very, very well. I mean, you come back from Northwestern, and I think that the one kind of immediate reaction to what they saw in Northwestern was to kind of elevate a couple of junior college defensive linemen that we'll talk about here shortly, and bring those guys in as early as you can when it comes to the season and get them in there for a home game. But then I think obviously that, Scott Frost has been through this before. Nebraska fans have been through this before when it comes to the rumors and the speculation. The staff had, a couple, 3 things that they needed to kind of get done on the recruiting front. Number one was to get those junior college defensive linemen, set to attend this weekend. Number 2, they had the September 1st kind of milestone when they could start reaching out to class of 2024 recruits. And they had to go ahead and finish out how they were going to kind of fill up the rest of their weekend with bringing in the guys that are still priority guys for 2023. How many, the commitments they're going to bring back, priority guys for 2024. And then I think ultimately there's still some, priority walk-on guys that they also want to kind of bring in and take another close look at. So I felt like they knocked out those 3 things out of the park. I mean, those are certainly some things, obviously, that the rumor and innuendo gets down to those levels. It's obviously impacting them. Their families watch the game. They're obviously out there on the social media and out in the public space where I'm sure that they're hearing and reading about those things. But it's not enough speculation, at least from a negative perspective, to keep them away from coming to Lincoln. So I think the staff is handling it just as well as the recruits are. And I think it's recruiting and football kind of all have that thing. It's like, we will cross that bridge when it comes, when it gets here. As of right now, it's kind of operating the same way that you were, and as things adjust, you make adjustments.
You were speaking on the filling up the visitor list for tomorrow, really. Do we have any names of the priority recruits that Nebraska is bringing in?
Yeah, there's a few guys that are coming in, like 2023 commits that everybody is very familiar with. Obviously, local guy Gunnar Gatula will be there. A couple other local guys, Maverick Noonan and Sam Sledge will be there. Jaden Doss, wide receiver from Kansas City, is going to be in town. But the 2 priority defensive linemen that I was referring to are both from Iowa Western. You have Antario Thompson, who came there in June for summer camp and tore it up. Left Lincoln with an offer, in hand. And then you have Quintrail Jamison Travis, who is the defensive tackle opposite Thompson. Those guys are really kind of unique in a way that when Iowa Western has got them both on the football field, they don't do strong side, weak side. They don't do 1 and 3 and flip. They literally stay where they're at, left or right, and they just kind of make the adjustment based on the formation that they're seeing. So very versatile pair of defensive linemen. And outside of that, you got a couple of big 2023 targets coming in. You got local guy Malachi Coleman coming in, wide receiver from Lincoln East. You also have Ethan Thomason. Really interesting story about him. Offensive tackle from Rocky Mountain High School in Fort Collins, Colorado. He hadn't heard from Nebraska since about like mid-July. And it seemed that Nebraska had kind of moved on, but some things have changed, right? The Zalance herd has come off the board and committed to LSU yesterday. Bo Hewley has been out there now in the public space saying that it's going to take quite a bit for him to flip on Georgia. So if that's the case, and Nebraska still feels like they have an offensive tackle need, Thomason is a big dude, 6'8", 300 pounds. And then I think, you get into some priority 2023 walk-on types, Caleb Kincaid from North Platte. You've got Mason Goldman from Gretna, Connor Keneally from Mount Michael, and a couple guys from Omaha West Side like Jalen Lloyd and Jeremiah Truitt. But then I think if there is one offer, and this will be the last guy I'll talk about, Jayden Reddle, who is a teammate of Nebraska commitment Jaden Doss. He's coming in as well. This is a bigger body guy, 6'4", 220-ish. Is he a wide receiver? Is he some sort of a hybrid flex tight end? We just know that he's a really, really good player offensively. Has a Tennessee offer, has a Missouri offer, has a Colorado State offer. Would not be surprised if he left Lincoln this weekend with the Nebraska offer.
Now, as you watch the Northwestern game, as we head to this North Dakota game, what was kind of your biggest concern watching that you think that might be maybe more of a long-term problem than one that they can get fixed from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, I think what was more troubling for me than anything else was just kind of the play up front, particularly on the defensive line. I know that there's certainly some things that they need to do when it comes to the rotation. They're not going to find a sustainable model leaving Ty Robinson out there for 70 plus snaps a game. That's simply, you're going well too far into the tank to keep him healthy or keep him productive for an entire season. So that was concerning. I think that they can kind of help that out as Wynn and Drew get a little bit more up to speed. Maybe conditioning, gets a little bit more in line with where they need to be to play in the conference, to play at Nebraska. And then I think tackling, the arm tackling, the ankle diving, those were certainly some things too that they have to clean up. They just gave Northwestern a few too many chances to kind of break tackles, make bigger plays out of something that should have been stopped for shorter games. And I think that if you really want to be critical about it, it could be on both sides of the offensive, or on both sides of the line of scrimmage, with the offensive line being also included. There just weren't enough holes kind of opened up to where the running backs could kind of get in it. I think that Nebraska will make adjustments when it comes to play calling, like the onside kick would be the first thing everybody else would talk about. But I think also Nebraska needs to start challenging the edges a little bit better when it comes to their play calling, particularly within the run game. And I think they need to find a way to kind of offset the loss of, maybe Vokalek not being around for a couple of weeks and trying to get him healthy to come back for Oklahoma.
That's interesting to see what kind of approach they take there. Do you think that Nebraska's edge rush was maybe overrated coming into the season, or do you think that was Skoronski and those guys being so good? Was it just a lack of imagination to get a blitz package together, or do you expect the edge rushers at Nebraska to have their day? It just wasn't week 0.
Well, the offensive tackle at Northwestern, they're talking about him being an NFL draft pick. I thought he played pretty solid. I don't think that Nebraska got O'Shawn Mathis on the field enough. I think that they need to really kind of take a look at their blitz package, try to find different ways to kind of get Garrett and O'Shawn out there on the field together. I think that also, you're trying to figure out how things are going to kind of work. I think that Northwestern had some pretty good designs kind of dialed up and how they were going to handle, I think where Nebraska's strengths are at, where it comes to, the edge spots with Garrett, with O'Shawn, with Caleb Tanner. They were able to kind of go out there and dial up the right protection. They obviously have really good tackles, so the tackle play was solid. And I think Nebraska has to be a little bit more creative. They did get some pressure from time to time when they were bringing the middle linebackers on some blitzes. They will have to continue to be creative. Having a guy like Hendricks go down with the injury, however, it's going to be one of those things to see how Nebraska is going to rotate them through, the next group of guys. If they need to make some more personnel decisions about bringing another guy back over to Mike potentially to kind of help things out until Nick can get back. It's going to be interesting to see. I like the mixing in of the linebacker. I felt like they could have done it maybe once or twice more with the defensive back, but ultimately those guys on the edge, they're going to have to try to find ways to be more effective on their own.
What is the news on the Nick Henrich injury? I've seen a few things about it, but I haven't got anything official.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of bizarre because it's like he was out there for a bit, and then all of a sudden he was gone, and he was kind of pulled off. I think Sean kind of nailed down some stuff in Tunnel Talk, talking about it a little bit. But yeah, I think it's going to be a couple of weeks before you see him back, and that's going to make things really interesting because I know Ernest Hausman had seen some time last week. But, Henrich, it's a right hand injury, actually, for Henrich now that I think about it. But so he's already had surgery, should miss a couple of games. But then you got Hausman and Mauga Clements, that could be guys that could step up potentially to play there. But, you're trying to bring, I think, Hausman along. I think he's very, very talented. And I think Mauga Clements is a guy that's obviously just seen time mainly on special teams. So it'd be very interesting to see how he can make that jump.
We're speaking with Brian Munson of Husker Online. Brian, could that be somewhere where one of the nickels, either Isaac Gifford or Chris Kolarovich, kind of step in if they're truly not that comfortable with throwing Ernest Hausman in there as a freshman, or Mauga Clements if he's despite being here for a while, still not ready to take that middle linebacker spot?
I think it's absolutely, for Kolarovich to get back over there from nickel and play Mike. I felt like he was a little bit out of position. He had a big hit last week, and obviously, you're looking for a guy out there that can punish some people at that nickel spot. But I think Nebraska's heart was in the right place, head was in the right place, was kind of trying to find ways to maximize playmakers and stuff like that. But you got to be a really super jumbo athlete to play that nickel spot. Like thinking back to how good of a player JoJo Doman, really was. JoJo just made the 53-man roster at Indy, being an undrafted free agent. Says a ton for him about being a player. Probably if he doesn't have that nasty hand injury, he probably does get drafted and probably, obviously still makes the roster. But I think it says the most to him about his skill set. His skill set is, playing man-to-man, dropping into coverage and getting into zone. And then also being able to kind of get after the quarterback and being stout against the run. You got to hit all those areas. It's a really unique spot. And I think Gifford looked the part, played the part last week. But I think Nebraska defense needs to go back and see what else they can do about maybe moving some other personnel around to help out at that spot where Henrich won't be for a couple of weeks.
He's Brian Munson of Husker Online, our weekly guest to get us ready for the game each week here on a Friday. Before we let you go, Brian, we need you to get your Nostradamus hat on and tell us what's going to go down on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not feeling really great about it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Nebraska's going to lose another one, but I don't think Nebraska fans can go out there and just feel good about what it is they're going to see. North Dakota is incredibly tricky. They go out there and they do a lot of eye candy, a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of throwback stuff. Nebraska has to play disciplined football on the defensive side of the football, and I just don't feel like, Nebraska got enough of that basically from last week. So I'm going to take the Huskers 35-21. It's not going to be a comfortable game, I think, for people to sit down and watch, though. I think people want to maybe potentially get a little bit more of a game, under their wings that they can feel good about building on, from week to week. I don't think that this is going to be that game. They're going to get a win, and it's going to be a feel-good thing for the team. But it's going to be tougher, I think, than what people are expecting.
All right, very interesting stuff. Thanks again for joining us for our Friday breakdown here, Brian.
Hey, have a great holiday, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, there he goes. Brian Munson of Husker Online. It is time for us to take our break here on the Ticket Water Cooler, and we'll make way for the happy hour. Let's talk a little bit about the games that happened last night. I thought those were a lot of fun. Also, maybe our own thoughts going into the weekend against North Dakota. We'll do that next year on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
The Labor Day savings event is going on now at Schaefer's. Take advantage of store-wide savings, interest-free financing, and special Labor Day cashback rebates. Right now, save on Whirlpool and Maytag appliances with up to $500 in rebates. Plus, when you update your kitchen appliances with new energy-efficient Whirlpool or Maytag models, you can take up to 18 months to pay interest-free. Hurry in for the Labor Day savings event going on now at Schaefer's, 48th and R, Lincoln.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Warhorse Casino is bringing winning opportunities to Lincoln. Get in on the action at our next job fair, Tuesday, September 6th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Husker Marriott. We're hiring trailblazers in every department: revenue auditors, IT, drop team, beverage servers, and more. Every employee is treated like family, and every role is essential in creating a one-of-a-kind experience. Go to warhorsecasino.com for more information or to apply.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals. Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
The Ticket Water Cooler with Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
He was talking about Northwestern's run game. He said they hit us with schemes that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Like, Scott, we know. That's why all offseason,
Just stop saying that.
I don't.
Just stop. Like, he stopped saying that we've had the greatest practice we've had since I've been here in Nebraska.
Learned that, yeah. Stop saying they surprised us. They've done we haven't seen.
They did some things that we didn't see on tape. Cool. Don't admit it.
Yeah, that's exactly what their job is to do.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are rocking our way into a game day tomorrow at Memorial Stadium. Oh, will it be beautiful? Little side note there, Rico. You expect to see some empty seats up there in Memorial Stadium.
I do. The sellout streak lives.
The sellout streak lives. That's for sure.
I don't know. I don't know how you want me to answer this. I'm very conflicted.
Just say yes.
No, I don't know. Not a lot of empty seats.
Yeah, I mean, and that's always the gauge, kind of for the interest. And
it's the first home game. People will
what's
show
going
up.
on? Yeah, you would think so.
People show. I mean, they showed up to the They showed up after they lost to Illinois. Like they'll show up after this Northwestern loss.
Yeah, I've got to believe so. Let's run down through some of the games that happened last night. Maybe that were of interest. Oklahoma State 58, Central Michigan 44. Spencer Sanders went off for 463 total yards and 6 total touchdowns. First-year defensive coordinator Derek Mason off to a rough start there with Oklahoma State, though, with the departure of Jim Knowles to Ohio State. For what it's worth, Central Michigan in its 4th season under Jim McElwain.
Hey, McElwain.
So I thought that was interesting. But
yeah, not a great start for the Oklahoma State defense coming off of a fantastic defensive year.
No. I think that's gone off to Ohio State. So we'll kind of see what happens there.
That's not scary.
But maybe they got their offensive firepower back because they were very much a defensive team last year, which is different than the normal. But the most important note out of that game is I don't know if you saw it went viral. A girl in the student section drinking out of a boot.
Yeah, I saw that. Gross.
Disgusting. Yeah,
what
absolutely.
Do you know? I got the shoeies also gross. The boot shoey, whatever. I don't want to. Yeah, gross.
Ugh. Yeah, please don't do that at Nebraska tomorrow. We don't want to go viral for that reason.
Please don't. It's also going to be super, like Ben says, it's going to be super hot tomorrow. If you drink out anybody's shoe, that's a lot of sweat. All right, so just watch yourself.
Yeah. The backyard brawl, Pitt beat West Virginia 38-31 on some Narduzzi ball. An interception return for a touchdown, though I suppose the defense didn't look great giving up that many points. But in any case, the defending ACC champions escape with a record and a record crowd. Well, I should say a record of 1-0 and a record crowd for a Pitt football game. 70,622 people went to go watch the backyard brawl.
Bring back the backyard brawl.
That's right. It was back for one day. Bring it back.
It's back for the next. So it's the next 3 years, and then they take a break, and then they'll be back for another 4-year stretch.
They're doing that kind of Oklahoma, Nebraska thing.
Yeah, so it's 4 years, then a break, then another 4 years. I don't know how long the break is.
Here's a trivia for you. West Virginia's coach. Do you know who that is?
I was about to say Dana Holgerson, but that's not who it is anymore. He's at Houston. I don't know.
Neil Brown. West Virginia coach Neil Brown has a victory over Scott Frost at Nebraska. Can you name that team?
He does?
Yeah.
I don't know, Troy.
That's correct, actually. Yeah, good swing.
I was like, it's not one of the Big Ten schools.
Yeah,
so that's got to be one of the. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Neil Brown. Well, not really.
Well, no, he lost.
Rude, but
yeah, and they beat Nebraska. That was very cool. So that's kind of interesting there. Penn State outlasted Purdue 35-31. Purdue.
That game was disgusting.
That game was awesome. You didn't like that one?
No, it was awesome, but it was disgusting. Purdue, what are you doing?
7 lead changes in the game. Purdue did not melt the clock whatsoever.
Sean Clifford, what are you doing?
Sean Clifford had the game-winning drive. Purdue actually went at Sean Clifford. It was kind of hard to watch because he's got a brace on his knee. They went after that knee. He left the game, so I figured it was because of that. But in the post game, it sounded more like it was a problem, maybe a bathroom problem.
Sean Clifford went poop.
He had to get to the bathroom.
Sean Clifford had the runs.
That's what
that was. I don't know.
Like.
I don't care what he tries to. No, Sean Clifford had the runs, which is what that pick six that he threw, the puke six.
Yeah,
that was a disgusting
that game
throw.
Was awesome.
The dude was wide open and he misses him by a mile.
By the way, I would transfer.
Sean Clifford good?
He's all right. He's like. That's what was kind of cool between Sean Clifford and Aiden O'Connell. They're both like 24 and married.
Yeah, but like Sean Clifford's like won a lot of games, but he's also like lost a lot of games. And who was the broadcast? Gus and Joel.
Yeah.
Joel said a thing that said the hard thing about being a quarterback that's out of school for a long time, it's tricky with the fans because you're good, but you're not good enough to leave.
Yeah.
Like to leave early to go to the NFL or whatever. And I was like, damn. That's
it's
wow.
So it's kind of a harsh reality,
think
but I
about that
think
one.
both those guys have settled in on that.
Yeah.
The COVID year is kind of cool to get an extra year of Sean Clifford and Aiden O'Connell. It was worth it to
It
me.
was just the
anyway.
way he said, like, you're good, but you're not good enough to leave early. And I was like, oof, oof.
No, yeah, not really. The Iowa transfer to Purdue, Charlie Jones, I thought this was kind of funny. Had 12 catches for 153 yards. He might be their new leading receiver there at Purdue. He had 19 targets last night. He had 21 total catches with Iowa last year as one of their primary.
So
go-to
that
guys.
is highlight to the transfer portal. That is a good reason to transfer.
Well, he went from completely the team that's not going to run any imaginative routes and going to control the clock and not really feature the wide receivers to the school that is definitely not going to care about time of possession or controlling the clock and just chuck the ball all over the field.
Exactly.
So,
See, transfer portal good.
yeah, might have worked out for him. Scary thing here: Minnesota 38, New Mexico State nothing. The good news is PJ Fleck and Jerry Kill are getting along now. They had a handshake. Jerry Kill said prior to the game they might not handshake because he does not like PJ Fleck too much.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them, but not good for New Mexico State. Minnesota held them to under 100 yards for the game, obviously in that shutout. Interesting stuff. Also, a reminder, Hendon Hooker is still good. He played well in Tennessee, and Joe Milton is still the backup there. You remember Joe Milton?
Hasn't Joe Milton been in college since like 2012?
Well, yeah, he's that same type of guy there. As for tonight, Illinois and Indiana get started at 7 o'clock on FSN, Western Michigan and Michigan State on ESPN2. That'll be 6 o'clock for your Big Ten matchups tonight. One other note before we get out of here, Rico, do you think it's disrespectful? Michigan has named 2 different starters for the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yep, that's dumb.
And Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. Usually, I mean, that'd be crazy to do at Nebraska. I suppose if you just came off a playoff performance, maybe you think you could do anything. But that's really disrespectful for their first 2 opponents, Colorado State and Hawaii. They're just like, yeah, regardless of what happens, we're just testing things out.
Well, look, if you're Colorado State and Hawaii, you know
what's happening.
You know what? Michigan doesn't respect you. I don't think it's it is disrespectful. But what are you going to do? You're going to beat them?
Yeah,
go ahead and beat them then.
It's bulletin board material. But
yeah,
they also have like co-offensive coordinators there. Michigan's kind of a mess.
Michigan, 2 of everything.
Yeah, we'll just do as long as Harbaugh's there.
Look, if you don't
just get together.
If you don't have any faith in your starting quarterback, why not start both of your quarterbacks? Whatever. Not my problem.
I don't know if there's much separation between the 2. I don't know if that means play them both. I think maybe they just settle in on a guy, but whatever. That'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler. Hope you guys have a great weekend and a Husker victory. Happy hour coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.